Hey there, and welcome to Secrets of the Ancients. If you're fascinated by the mysteries of archaeology, you're in the right place. Don't forget to follow us so you can catch this episode and all our future explorations. Your support means a lot, so please subscribe, like, and drop a comment below to let us know what you think.
Huh! You never know what secrets the sands might give up next, eh? Stick around, you might just learn something new.
Thanks so much for joining us today. Remember to follow Secrets of the Ancients and stay tuned for more incredible discoveries. And don't forget, subscribe, like, and comment to help us keep sharing these stories with you. At the first light of dawn over the Giza Plateau, the Great Sphinx of Giza casts its long shadow across the sands. For nearly 4,500 years, this massive statue, about 66 feet tall and 240 feet long, carved straight from the bedrock, has kept its secrets in absolute silence. But today, something unprecedented is happening.
Never thought I'd see the day we'd open that old hatch. Been sealed since before my father's time.
A team of archaeologists stands atop the weathered Sphinx preparing to open a hidden hatch located just above its eyes. This metal hatch, sealed since 1926, has long puzzled both researchers and dreamers alike. As its rusty bolts finally come free, the world holds its breath. What secrets might lie hidden inside the ancient guardian's skull? Ancient artwork from the New Kingdom shows the Sphinx wearing a tall crown. If such a crown really existed, perhaps the hole in its head was cut to anchor it in place. Whatever its original purpose, the opening was sealed nearly a century ago when French engineer Émile Barra reinforced the Sphinx and installed an iron door over the cavity in 1926. Since then, this secret door has stayed locked for decades, until now. As the heavy iron cover swings open, a foul-smelling gust of air seeps out from the darkness within. Looking down, the archaeologists see a narrow vertical shaft dropping about 6 feet into the Sphinx's head. The walls of this hidden space are straight and squared, clearly shaped by human hands, while the floor is rough natural rock sitting a few feet above the surrounding ground level.
Smells like a tomb that's been closed 1,000 years. Careful where you step.
In the beam of a flashlight, they notice a thin crack that extends even deeper from the bottom of the shaft, a tempting passage into the unknown. The team exchanges excited glances. They're staring into a part of the Sphinx no living person has seen for generations. Carefully, one explorer lowers a small camera into the shaft, its cable trembling slightly as it descends. The live video feed reveals more details of the interior. Every surface is coated in centuries of dust, but faint chisel marks are still visible. Proof of the ancient work that carved out this secret cavity. There are no glittering treasures or ancient scrolls here, just stone and silence. Yet even these bare walls speak volumes. It's likely that the Great Sphinx didn't always have the uniform sandy color we see today. Archaeologists have found traces of red paint on the Sphinx's face and hints of blue and yellow on its body, suggesting this giant statue was once vividly painted in bold, striking colors. Sheltered from the weather, tiny remnants of that ancient paint still cling inside this shaft. A quiet reminder of the Sphinx's former glory when it gazed over the desert in full color under the Egyptian sun. After opening the hatch and documenting the chamber, the researchers carefully climb down from the Sphinx's head, thrilled by what they've discovered. What they found wasn't a hidden treasure room, but perhaps something even deeper, a direct glimpse into the construction of the Sphinx and the efforts of those who maintained it across the ages. The carefully carved walls of the shaft suggest that ancient builders, or maybe later restorers, deliberately opened this hole. Was it only to fix a piece of the Sphinx's headgear? Or could it have been the beginning of a passage meant to delve further into the massive stone body? For now, the Sphinx keeps that secret. The narrow crack at the bottom of the shaft remains unexplored, inviting further investigation. Yet simply entering this legendary monument has made history. After generations of speculation, experts have finally set foot and cameras inside the Sphinx, adding a new page to the story of this mysterious giant. Part of the reason for such caution is that despite its fame, the Great Sphinx remains a mystery in many ways. Surprisingly, no written record from the time of its construction tells us the statue's original name or purpose. Egyptologists generally believe it was commissioned by Pharaoh Khafre around 2500 BC as part of his pyramid complex. However, there are no inscriptions that definitively link Khafre to the creation of the Sphinx. This uncertainty has led to alternative theories about the monument's origins.
Perhaps the most provocative idea comes from geological studies of the Sphinx's body. The sides of the statue and the walls of its enclosure show erosion patterns that some geologists argue could only have been caused by prolonged heavy rainfall, not the kind of weather Egypt has seen over the last 4,500 years. According to this controversial hypothesis, the Sphinx could be far older than generally believed, dating back to the end of the last ice age, around 10,000 BC. That timeline would predate the pyramids and even Greek civilization, hinting at a lost chapter of history.
After opening the hatch and documenting the chamber, the researchers climbed down from the Sphinx's head, overjoyed by what they had uncovered. What they found wasn't a treasure but something deeper, an insight into how the Sphinx was built. The carefully carved walls of the shaft suggest that ancient builders, or perhaps later restorers, deliberately created the opening. Was it just to secure part of the Sphinx's headdress, or was it the start of a deeper passage? For now, the Sphinx keeps its secrets. As the sun rises over Giza, the archaeologists seal the opening again, knowing they've touched a piece of history. The Sphinx, with its unblinking gaze and worn face, resumes its silent watch over the desert, now with one less secret hidden inside. Yet by solving this small mystery, the team has opened the door to even bigger questions. What other ancient secrets still lie buried under Egypt's sands? The next discovery might be just around the corner. In fact, experts recently uncovered a puzzling artifact that could be even older than the Sphinx itself, something so mysterious it defies all known logic. But that's a story for another day, a story that will take us deep into the fascinating past.
There is always another secret, always another story waiting in the sand. Egypt, she never stops surprising us.
The Giza Plateau, dominated by its majestic pyramids and the enigmatic Great Sphinx, stands as a testament to the power and creativity of Egypt's fourth dynasty, around 2600 to 2400 BC. For thousands of years, these iconic monuments, especially Khufu's Great Pyramid, have captivated the world, securing Giza's status as a cornerstone of ancient Egyptian civilization. Yet, beneath the shadows of these massive structures lies a hidden history, a past that may stretch back centuries or even millennia before the reign of the fourth dynasty pharaohs. Recent research and renewed focus on earlier excavations have begun to peel back the layers of time, revealing a much older and more complex story of Giza, one that could force us to rethink its origins entirely. At the heart of this new historical investigation is a seemingly unremarkable place, the Cromer Dump, an ancient trash heap that might hold the key to unlocking Giza's pre-dynastic secrets. Located just south of the Giza Pyramid Complex, the Cromer Dump is a crescent-shaped mound of ancient debris. It was first excavated in the 1970s by Austrian archaeologist Karl Cromer, and later re-examined in 2018 by researchers from Ancient Egypt Research under Dr. Mark Lehner. Traditionally, the dump has been viewed through the lens of the Fourth Dynasty. For example, the 2018 AER findings described it as a pile of demolition rubble and garbage from the Fourth Dynasty, possibly from a ruined royal rest house or small palace dating to the reign of Khafre, builder of the Second Pyramid. This fits with the accepted view of Giza as a necropolis that developed mainly during the Fourth Dynasty. But Cromer's original findings, carefully detailed in his 1978 publication, Settlement Discoveries of the Early Old Kingdom at Giza, the Austrian excavations 1971 to 1975, painted a richer, more intriguing picture.
While Cromer acknowledged the clear presence of Fourth Dynasty material, he also identified many artifacts he attributed to Egypt's first, second and third dynasties, the early dynastic period.
Most provocatively, he even suggested that some finds hinted at pre-dynastic activity on the plateau, predating Egypt's unification under Narmer. This raises a fundamental question that challenges the traditional narrative. Was the Cromer Dump merely a convenient spot for Fourth Dynasty builders to dump their waste? Or was it actually the remains of a much older settlement, a thriving community that flourished on the Giza Plateau long before the pyramids were ever conceived? In his first 1972 report, Cromer proposed a bold and radical idea at the time, that there had been a large settlement on the Giza site, thriving from the First Dynasty through the Third Dynasty. He suggested that at the start of the Fourth Dynasty, this settlement was deliberately demolished to make way for the royal necropolis, a project that forever changed the landscape. This interpretation directly challenges the old view of Giza as mostly empty land before the Fourth Dynasty, instead suggesting it was a hub of human activity for centuries before. If Cromer's hypothesis is correct, it would mean a radical reevaluation of Giza's early history, and why this site was chosen for the royal tombs. Cromer's claims weren't based on speculation alone, but on careful analysis of the artifacts from the dump. Let's look at the main pieces of evidence that support his theory. Pottery is often a key clue in archaeology, as it helps date sites and link them to specific cultures. In the dump, Cromer found many pottery fragments with decorative scratch marks that closely resembled patterns from both the Naqada II culture of the pre-dynastic period, about 3500 to 3200 BC, and from Egypt's early dynastic cultures in Lower Egypt. The presence of these distinctive pottery styles suggests that Giza might have been inhabited or influenced by people from these earlier times. Perhaps the most compelling evidence comes from clay sealings found in the dump. In ancient Egypt, clay sealings were used to secure containers, doors, and documents, often bearing stamped marks that identified officials, owners, or institutions. Cromer discovered many sealings with animal figures, hieroglyphic symbols, and geometric patterns. Comparing these to sealings from other sites, he confidently dated several to the so-called Thinite period, the first and second dynasties, when the city of Thinis near Abydos was Egypt's capital. Alongside pottery and sealings, Cromer also found various stone tools, including fishhooks, blades, and triangular scrapers. Although stone tools can be hard to date precisely because their forms were used for long periods, their presence fits well with known pre-dynastic and early dynastic technologies, and their discovery alongside the pottery and sealings strengthens the argument for earlier origins. Adding to this, the discovery of faience tiles in the dump suggests even more. Faience, a glazed ceramic material, was often used in elite and royal contexts. Cromer noted similarities between these tiles and those from the southern tomb of Djoser, the first pyramid builder of the Third Dynasty at Saqqara. This could point to the presence of significant structures, perhaps even royal or administrative buildings, at Giza before the Fourth Dynasty. One of the most intriguing and honestly controversial finds from the dump is this tiny 3.6 centimeter clay Sphinx figurine, discovered in Trench F alongside some really important early dynastic sealings.
According to Cromer, this might be the oldest Sphinx figurine ever found in Egypt.
But it looks quite different from the later standard Sphinx images, and that sparked a lot of debate about its date and meaning. The most striking feature of the figurine is its lack of the famous Nemes headdress, the striped royal headcloth usually worn by kings. Instead, it shows this finely detailed hairstyle with tight curls arranged in concentric circles. That unique feature immediately sets it apart from almost all known Sphinx representations, which typically show the royal headdress.
Although Cromer personally believed that the Great Sphinx at Giza was built by Khafre, he tentatively dated the small figurine to the Fourth Dynasty. Yet he admitted that its unusual style, the missing royal headdress, the rough carving despite the detailed hair, and the odd posture of the lion's body all raised questions about that attribution.
Elsewhere on the Giza Plateau, the discovery of pre-dynastic pottery adds an important link to earlier cultures that lived in the region before Egypt was unified. The Mahdi culture, which thrived in Lower Egypt from around 4000 to 3200 BC, is particularly relevant here. Archaeological evidence, especially pottery, shows that Mahdi people were present at Giza. And while we still don't fully understand the scale and nature of their settlement, the Cromer dump, with its pre-dynastic traces, really offers an intriguing glimpse into this earlier era. This possibility that Giza wasn't just an empty, windswept plateau chosen by Fourth Dynasty kings for its strategic location, but a place with a long, complex human history, adds a fascinating new dimension.
Perhaps it was already important to the Mahdi people and those who came before them.
Finally, we just want to thank you all for listening and encourage you to follow Secrets of